Going on, folks? Welcome to the Lemonade Podcast. I am your host, Frank. Here at the Lemonade Podcast, we go by the saying, when life gives you lemons, we make lemonade. With that, we also want to encourage, inspire, and empower those tuning in, but also and mostly our guest. And our guest today is Luci. Luci is an intimacy coach and an entrepreneur. So just emphasizing on that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, and we're in our space, which you've shot several times now. yes. For those that don't know, just gonna throw it out there. I'm a photographer slash videographer, and I've worked with Luci and her husband various times in creating some of the content that we'll be discussing today. Yeah. So once again, with the Lemonade Podcast, we're here to take our guests' stories as far as like what lemons they've been handed in life to that prompted them to create what they create, which is the lemonade, and in your case, with you being an intimacy coach, we're gonna, go into that. So just real quick, get comfortable. We're in your place. Thank you for having us. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course. Real quick shout out to Matt. Matt is here with us today. He is the co-producer of the show. I gave him that title. Someone else solidified it. So that's his title, co-producer, Matt. Say hi, Matt.
What's up?
There you go. I don't know if anybody can hear that, but he said what's up. So just tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, okay. Where do we begin?
Wherever.
Like in the lemons part of the story.
So you know what I think? One thing, just real quick, because I know, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yes.
So originally I'm from Peru.
Yes. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that, like when we first met, and I was like,
yes.
Yeah.
But I grew up in the States.
Shout out to Peru.
Yes.
Shout out to
Lima, what's up?
There you go.
But I grew up in the Midwest in the States.
Okay.
Mostly in the South.
Nice.
So when we came to California in 2012, from Nashville, it felt more like home.
Okay.
We're in the Pacific Ocean and beach and palm trees and the whole bit. So
all nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So let's get into the lemons.
Okay.
Because that's why we're here, right? And share whatever you want. There is no cap on that. Wherever you want to take it, how far you want to take it's on you. It's just. Keep in mind that everybody is listening, maybe watching. Everyone.
No pressure.
And then there's no pressure at all. I know you're. I don't feel like you.
I'm used to talking about this stuff too.
Yeah,
so it's like,
exactly. Yeah. So we're here for that. We're here for it. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lemons, huh?
Yeah.
In a synopsis, a quick synopsis. Yeah. So I was a pastor's daughter. Growing up, I actually was two pastors' daughters at two different times because my father, who's now back in Peru for the last 20 years, was a minister, and then my parents got divorced when I was 14, and my mom remarried when I was just barely 15 to another pastor, except this guy was like white, Kentucky-born farmer as can be. So it was like a radical shift.
Your father was not those things.
He was a Peruvian man.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We only spoke Spanish at home, which is really the only reason that I maintained it. For this
so
long.
You do speak Spanish?
I do, yeah.
Holy crap, I did not know that. All the things, I'm not going to lie.
Years.
I did not know this.
Well, we have no reason to speak Spanish with each other.
I mean, I usually sometimes from time to time throw it out, but we also live in California, Southern California.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican.
Yeah.
I speak it, and from time to time I'll throw it out, but I don't know why. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and sometimes the kids even ask me, they're like, you still speak Spanish, right? I'm like, I do voiceovers in Spanish still. I get work in Spanish. Like, I'll write some songs in Spanish. Yeah.
We might need you for...
So I use it.
Yeah, for a Spanish-speaking audience for a little voiceover.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm less like practiced in fluently conversationally speaking it at this point.
Yes.
So like when we meet, you know, somebody who is primarily a Spanish speaker, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sound rusty.
Right. Yeah,
I talk to my grandma, you know.
Right. It sucks.
This is embarrassing.
I always apologize in the jump. I'm like, I'm sorry, but my Spanish is not as great as my Russian. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that would be funny.
It just comes out funny. It sounds funny because I don't speak it often.
Is it like choppy and not fluid kind of?
I think it can be, but once I get into the flow, but I just don't practice it enough with anybody here. So
yeah,
you know,
I dare you. And for me, it's, if it's a voiceover, it's one thing because it sounds very professional and you know, and I use that voice.
Gotcha.
But in conversation, I'm not using that voice.
All right.
But anyway, so yeah, I had a new dad, and honestly, I didn't know how to process all of that, especially with what I had witnessed, like my just a lot of crazy stuff that 8th grade year. There was an attempted abduction, and then my father took the other person's side and didn't stand up for me, didn't protect me.
Wow.
And then just some other sketchy stuff that happened. And then my mom, you know, finally left him, but before he was taken away, he actually attempted suicide. We're not sure if he actually intended to fully follow through, or maybe it was more of a cry for help. Okay. But that was a very memorable moment, like seeing him laying on the hospital bed with this hole on the bottom of his shoe because he had obsessive compulsive disorder. And so he would always like frantically shake, like rub his foot against the front of the door. I don't know why. It was just like some obsessive, like a tick or something. I'm not sure. But I just remember that image. That's one of the last like images out of him. So I had all this stuff, I had all this pain, all this unprocessed trauma, right? Yeah. On top of all the stuff that was internalized in my body from the religious pieces that, you know, tell you what you should and shouldn't be, and that just all that, like all that to deconstruct.
I understand.
Yeah, and how tied to that my image of my body and my pleasure and my sexuality and all that stuff was, which I had no idea about that. I didn't start getting into that until I was already a mother. I'd been married for several years. Like you know, we didn't even know that was going to be a thing, you know? But when I did start to work through those things, the catalyst for all of that, for really getting into that I had just forgotten about. We would literally black these things out. Like our brains are so smart, they protect us. Right. Our bodies are so wise, right? They only let us see and like experience what we have the capacity to, what we can handle. And so the catalyst for all of the deeper work was when Ryan went through his 2.5 years of depression and disability.
Ryan,
my husband. Yeah, so we've been married for 15.5 years now.
Right. Ryan is super dope. Great individual. Just both of them always bring such a great energy. Every time I come, it's so welcoming. I love that. You know, just creating with you has been a pleasure, and it's so freeing. You know, I get to take it wherever I want. Yes. And that's the dope part about my process. But that's me. Yes. But we're not here for me. But it's amazing. It's amazing to work with both of you at this point now. You know what I mean? Because it's like a free space.
Yeah. You know, so. Yeah, that's exactly the space that we want to cultivate here for our family and for guests and anybody who we experience, you know, coming over. Definitely. So that means a lot to me.
No, I'm grateful for that, because I feel like we need that. We need more safe spaces, you know, because a lot of people, even like you telling your story, like even in your home, like at times me growing up, home was just where you put your shit. Yeah, you know, it just doesn't right feel there. Like your place. It didn't, you know, and that's for my reasons, and maybe one day I'll share my lemons, but you know, it's nice to be able to just show up and just that energy walking in. It's so welcoming. You feel the love. It's genuine, unconditional, like all these things, and it's great. Especially like I said, when I create with you, even just talking to you overall, it's just always been there, you know. And I don't know if it's mutual, but
it is. There's a reason I've been able to shoot the kind of content that I do with you, because you're one of those few people that I really feel like I can trust in your solid and who you are. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, good communication, like the whole bit.
Yeah. I know my mind will go, hey, I need you to do this, pose this way, and do that, and you're like, okay. And
we're like, let's roll with it. That's cool. Yeah. Tell us how to look even better. Right. Like, please.
But you know, you do your thing and you do it so well, and I appreciate that, because it's it's awesome to be able to create with somebody like you who just brings that energy and just allows me to be me in that free, free, safe space.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank
both of you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So back to now with, I feel like we're merging.
With that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he had, so he's always been a really active guy, and he was in the military, and
shout out to military.
Yeah, shout out to military. And so he got out in 2010 when he got back from Kyrgyzstan. So we lived in Tennessee at the time.
Kyrgyzstan, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there in the cold.
It's freaking cold.
It is cold.
He said it was negative 30 degrees in Kyrgyzstan. He worked the night shift too on the ice.
Yeah, we got in there right before going into Afghanistan. So that's kind of like you stopped there.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody
snowing,
was stopped there.
It was cold, and it was their winter. Jesus, I don't.
Yep.
I don't have any PTSD, but I feel like those types of No, I'm kidding. Not that I'm making fun of PTSD, so don't get offended.
Period of time,
but there's some certain things that I'm like, ooh, it's cold.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, no, he would work 12 hours on the night shift on the ice and like fall at least like 3 times a night.
Oh yeah, you have to if you haven't.
But he just had a ball with it. He's just been that kind of guy who's like, I'll do the craziest shit and make it like just a blast,
Right.
And so he was that guy. He was always this like extremist, and also could always turn something into fun, like crazy adventures, and for him to be from that to go from that to being like checked out of life was a rude awakening. And I'm like, what is happening? What the fuck? And not only that, but he was supposed to be the stay-at-home parent at the time while I was working and figuring more things out career-wise and everything, and clients and all that. And he was not. He was just checked out. Like he was there,
right?
But not himself. And so he was more like a fifth kid. Which, looking back now, like I have so much compassion and love for how he was, and for myself too. We're all doing the best that we can all the time. Yeah. And the video games that he would play, like most waking moments, were just keeping him hanging there, because it's like he had nothing to live for. Just the family, and hopefully he'll get better one day. Yep. But he couldn't really be present. Wow. He was just not his alive self. Yeah. And so I got to a point. I also developed an autoimmune disorder during that time, so my body was hating me, and I was like, "Why are we doing this? What? Like, no, this isn't working. You can't cope in the ways that you cope." My coping was working, and so I was already. I have to work because I'm the sole provider now for this family, right? And so I could hide behind that, but it just, the way that I would do it was not in a very like heart-centered, aligned way, Right. But again, I was doing the best that I could, so I'd get an inspiration and try to follow it the best I could. Gotcha. And I started to look for different solutions. Okay. Like I knew that the church wasn't it. Like I just, it's like, okay, this is not for me.
Not for you. Yeah.
Nope.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Everything isn't for everybody.
It's true.
I heard that today. Everything isn't for anybody. Got it. Not for everyone. Okay, cool.
It's not for everyone. Yeah. But I stumbled across Tony Robbins' work and found like who else? Abraham Hicks, and I think Teal Swan. She was in her early days of sharing videos on YouTube, and I was like, how do you change a belief? Like 6 steps. I remember finding her video on that. But I just knew that there was so much that I didn't know, and I was just at the end of my rope, and I couldn't keep doing things the way I'd done them. Like something had to change. I felt really hopeless and stuck. And even just stuck in my body, like trapped in my body, because I couldn't sleep more than an hour and a half at a time. I already had newborn and all these kids, and so like I would wake up like bloody skin because the sores were just like all over my body. Wow. Okay. So and then one day they actually blew up all over my face. Oof. And I could barely open my eyes. Wow. And so it was after that point that I started to do some more integrative work with my body, energy work and like visualizations tied in with meditations, and like the clean eating that I'd been doing wasn't cutting it on itself by itself. Yeah. So anyway, I started to get on a healing path with my body, and then I found all these other solutions for like solutions, different possibilities.
No, of course, yeah.
And I went to a training that was marketed as a leadership training, which I was like, this would be good for me as a business person.
Right.
You know, it seems like on point.
Seems legit.
Yeah, it seems cool. It's one day. I can pay, $40. It's like, I don't know, can I?
Yeah,
it was tough there, man.
You're investing in yourself.
Yeah. That was that was what started that whole path into meeting this particular mentor that eventually Ryan got to connect with and experience. And it just like, he was really skeptical at first when I came back from the next training, which was 4 days. And he was like, this is temporary. The high's going to wear off.
Yep.
She's going to become her old, like, critical, whatever self again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it just didn't go back. It was, I was just different.
You found it. You found it. And you're
and so
keep rolling with it.
Exactly, yeah. And so we just kept going from there, and, lots of steps in the journey.
No, that's dope. No, and it reminded me of, like, me personally is back in, last year, 2021.
Yeah.
Where I just kind of like decided like, yo, I need to change my mindset.
Yeah.
And I felt like I need to just take control of my life and just being more intentional.
Yeah.
About how I want it to look. I know that, it's not going to change overnight.
Yeah.
But just every little step that I took, just got me closer to that. And I was just talking to this with Matt, literally on the car here, on the car right here. I was like, yo, how do you want your life to look like? And I asked that myself. So anyone who's in my circle, I'm trying to like ask that because I want to know what
vision, right? Yeah. Like, what do you envision for your life?
So what are you doing to get, those steps? And then you start just kind of like you start taking one step, two, and now you're just running sometimes, but you're well on your way, and somehow you're not even looking back anymore because you see in that vision.
You're focused on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's,
Yeah, and you start to get a vision. Like, the thing is that humans were unfortunately, we tend to be more motivated by pain, by getting away from pain than going towards pleasure. Yeah.
That was you're preaching to the choir right now.
Yeah. So it's like, the worst possible scenario is to just be coasting comfortably enough where there's like some bullshit. Yeah. And like, I don't like how my life is. I don't like my relationship, my parenting relationship, my career, my job, whatever. Yeah. But it's not so bad that I need to go like uproot my whole life and make a radical change. But when the gift of those lemons, right, the really painful moment, like that was the biggest gift in our lives, was what happened to Ryan and what that whole like spiral happened. Because if it weren't for that, who knows how long we would have just coasted the way that we were going. And nothing would have been there to really wake us up unless something happens later. But and not to say that it always has to be something horrible or tragic, but sometimes just seeing the possibility in somebody else's life, you're like, oh, and you see a vision. But it just so happens that a lot of times, and for us too, the pain had to get, worse before we could get away from it enough to see a different possibility.
That drastic measure is like, now it's like, oh crap, like that's happening. Oh my, now I gotta change my whole life up. It's like, you gotta have, once again, be intentional about that vision because.
And it keeps getting clearer and clearer the more you go. You just take the next step.
Yeah. And the more I feel like this, once again, for me, I continued that journey and taking those steps and towards that vision. And even today, I don't focus so much on what happened to me.
Yeah.
And you talk about the pain part, it's crazy because, I started doing therapy, therapy this year. And I said, they were like, what's the goal? And I was like, well, to be honest, I don't want to allow my pain to define me anymore. And I've said this a lot before, and I've told people, I said, I allowed my pain to define me for so long, that it even kind of like became addictive. Yeah. I had to, I need pain to feel something.
You have to feel something.
Right.
But then that's better than not feeling anything.
Exactly. And so, But then it's pain.
But
right. But the thing.
You want to stay there forever.
Right. I'm like, so then I was like, I realized like, yo, like, I don't want to allow it to define me. I know it is a part of me, just like love is and everything else. So I'm not going to deny that, but I also have so much more. So I was like, let's look into everything else instead of just the pain. And right now I'm there. So I'm looking at everything else and it's helping to like find myself, for lack of a better term. But Yeah, you know,
because it helps shape you. The thing is, you know, the pain, the things that we go through, the great things that we go through too, they all shape who we are becoming. And even beyond that, we help to shape that as depending on how we experience it, how we choose to look at it, and how we move through it. Yep. Because the pain, like our biggest pain points have been our biggest areas of power and transformation. And I remember this line that, so when we first moved to San Diego, and I would walk, we lived in Ocean Beach for the first almost 6 years. We just moved here a few months ago. This is new. No. And I would walk our youngest two in this double stroller down the cliffs from our house. And the first 6 months I was just in disbelief that we got to live there, because I'm like, how? Like, we don't belong here. We don't deserve to live in this house. We don't deserve to live next to the beach. Like, and it was such a gift from the universe. But I would when I got to that point where I was searching for something different, and I found Tony Robbins, I was like, I think it was YouTube, and I would listen to the videos while I was walking, and there were certain things that stood out to me, like the idea that change is uncomfortable, right? Like, change is uncomfortable. So it's either the pain of change or the pain of staying where you are. And until the pain of where you are is bigger than the possible whatever's out there, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna leap, because otherwise I'm gonna die here.
You know? And stay. It's crazy you say that, because that happened to me, exact same thing. At least how I see it. Because in 2021, when I said, yo, I gotta switch up, I gotta do something new. I already did that. Let's try something new. Coincidentally, you talk about Tony Robbins and whatnot, you know, these motivational speakers and whatnot. You know, I really got into Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, and I religiously just listened to his stuff, listened to, you know, I forget the other dude's name. I forgot. Anyways, but it was coincidental maybe, but once I started going with that, in that direction, I found him, and then now it just made the vision that much clearer, and that's what continued my motivation to move to, you know, accept. And what I learned in therapy is to receive everything that's coming, right? And so 2021 was like one of the best years for me, because it's like, oh snap, here we go, so it's dope. Like I when you're telling your story, like, that was me. You know, and hopefully it's a lot of people out there right now tuning in that, you know, have finally found their, you know, maybe their own purpose, their vision, and are taking those steps, big or small, whatever. Just please take that step, even that leap into that, you know, in that direction. So
exactly.
But I digress. No, but so now the Lemonade itself. You mentioned now you're more in tune with your body, yourself, right? Tell us about that, what you do.
So what I do. So the kind of the other side of that, where that has led me, it's funny because people are like, how did you get into that? How did you start doing that? I'm like, well, how much time do we have? Right. Is that now, well, first of all, the biggest thing is our marriage.
Yes.
And so the connection that we have, the ability to really like connect with each other, see each other, have that deeper intimacy, emotionally, physically, spiritually. We're actually, even though neither of us identify as Christian or religious anymore, we are more deeply spiritual than we've ever been, and we're more on the same page in regards to our spirituality. So we have all of these shared experiences, and beyond that, it's like this detachment from needing the other person to see exactly the way that they see that, like, you know, which is so freeing, because when we spent the first over decade of our marriage, like needing to talk each other into things and trying, I just need to get you to see, you know, my point of view, but to have the openness to just witness each other, hold space for each other, learn how to be more compassionate and less self-judgmental, which is how we become less judgmental to others. And so that's like the biggest. And then our family, like the way that we relate with our kids, and the way that I relate with my own body, which also has an impact on everything else, and actually became the focus of my business and career. So the fruit of that, or the lemonade of that, is getting to help other people, like not only just being on the other side of that those lemons
yes.
ourselves, but also getting to help other people who are still in that, or who are seeking different solutions, or feel like something's missing in their relationship or in their bodies. Yeah. Because there was nothing more frustrating for me, especially in the early years of our oldest two, who are teenagers now. Yeah. In their early years, where I just felt so dead inside. Like, I felt so numb. Like, I'm like, I should be enjoying this more. I'm like, what kind of shitty mom am I that I can't be like present? Why can't I be present? It's just all this stuff was like emotionally constipated.
Yeah.
You know.
Real quick, I know that what you just mentioned, like the relationship you have with your husband.
Yeah.
And being less self-judgmental and judgmental towards others is, at the end of the day, you got to remember we're all human. And I feel we have to allow whatever relationship we may be in, friends, family, whatever. Excuse me. Remember that they're human as well. Yeah. You know, the error there will be there. Keep that in mind. Just for me, like I feel like. Excuse me. Cut that out. No. You know.
Because it's a human moment.
I'm human. I can cough.
It's human cough.
Take an intermission for water.
No, thank you, Matt. No water right now. We're good. No, but I feel like, we forget that. Like, you're dealing with other humans. Your children, they're humans. They're not you. They're their own self. And it's like, sometimes I feel like we forget. It's like, well, you have to be my husband. You have to be my wife a certain way, whatever. It's like,
it's like, because you reflect me, and I need you to be
you're
this
human.
way.
Let me just, like you said, be there, be present. Let me just embody you. Let me enjoy. Let me witness the person that you're becoming, you know. So that's dope. And that's just one point I feel like we have to remember. At the end of the day, we're still human. We're gonna make the mistake, but learn from it, do your best to do that.
Learn and try to grow through it.
Growth is key. From that, please do, keep that in mind. But don't ever, because you talked about being a mother and feeling guilty, like, oh my goodness, why am I not? You're human. We're all human.
And we just don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
Also. Like, I had no idea that all of this was even existed.
Right.
So it's just having the courage to take just the very next step.
Definitely.
Like, have you seen Frozen 2?
No,
your daughter's too old for that. Yeah.
No, she might have seen it. I've seen the first one. I'm just not gonna sit through that.
It was still one of my Disney movies still do something for me. Like,
I think what it is for me, I'm not the biggest fan of musicals.
Oh, okay.
It's just Disney. I can like, okay, cool. It's cartoons. No offense, Disney. Aladdin's my favorite. But when it comes to musicals, it's just like, I don't want to watch people sing. I'm sorry. Respect to that is great. Not my thing. Period.
That was Ryan up until like 2 years ago. No, like not even 2 years ago.
But I'll be like, okay. Now I'm more open-minded, open-hearted. So, okay, cool. Let me hear. Yeah, cool. But anyway, I'm sorry. So Frozen 2.
Oh yeah, there's a song. She's like, what? She feels so lost, and the whole way that the story was going was just hopeless, and so the song was like, just do the next right thing, or the next thing that to do. Like, you don't have to see the whole vision. It can be cloudy and foggy and unclear and blurry, but you just do like, what's the very next thing stuff that I can take, maybe one habit that I can begin doing every day. Because it's surprising. This is something I had no idea how much of an impact this made, even with a degree in like the human sciences and kinesiology, was how the nervous system. Oh, did that stop?
You're good. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Was how the nervous system impacts the way you experience your life. And so I had a very unregulated nervous system. So any sign of like conflict, I would shut down.
Oh, okay.
Any sign of like maybe like just a little bit of external threat, I would recognize so much as a threat. Yeah. Because I grew up in a very fear-based environment.
Wow.
And
survival mode.
Yeah. So it's just, if everything's a threat, it also takes a toll on your body.
Yep.
Because your immune system's constantly like, all your hormones are doing all these crazy shit, and you're not designed to live in that way. Just so it's a wonder that I didn't have a lot of anxiety. Yeah. But so just learning how to regulate my nervous system. So that's one of the first things that I tell people when they ask me, like, what's something that I can do, is that next step is something that will help you to regulate your nervous system, you know, which is like a lot of the somatic healing practices, which is just simple. Like, I mean, three elements. You got movement, breathing, and sound.
Yeah, it's funny because the first thing I tell people, like, yo, because we forget. I'm like, real quick, I'm like, breathe. Just take a couple deep breaths. Just like breathe. Trust me. Get some air into your oxygen into your brain
and like your body.
Hey, chill out. Like I know it's sometimes we forget. We're distracted by so many things that we forget to breathe. Yeah. Which sounds so simple, right?
Yeah. But it's like you can be just breathing shallow all day and not even notice. And so and then just movement, like free flowing movement. Because for me, it was one thing to do exercise and get a good workout.
More structured. Like,
but and it's structured. But you know, now it's like, this is what I love about the dancing that I do every day. I do some dancing every day. Right. Because it's just like feeling into my body, like, what do I need? Where does it need to move? Where's the energy kind of like, needing to flow? Yeah, I don't dance.
I can't. I move a little bit. I've learned that I ain't gonna lie. We're just gonna be out there and vulnerable and put myself out there. In the shower sometimes the song might come on. Not that I'm dancing to it, but I just kind of like sway back and forth. One by myself. Matt is getting to know a lot of these details as we speak. He doesn't know that I dance in my living room. No, I'm kidding. I don't. But I understand what you're saying. You know, just that, and even
just the move, like shaking your body, tapping your body. Because Ryan didn't dance until like maybe a year and a half ago, and now he's like, his hip movements were always sports or fucking.
Thank you. So Ryan, yes, I feel the sports, not so much sports, but movement for sure, and fucking.
Yeah. So it's like this functional movement, right?
To my daughter, if you're listening, movement. I am human. No, but I understand. Yes, I don't think we've explored that. I wish that I knew how to.
You don't even have to. Here's the thing. Look, after this, you guys should have a little conversation about just he gets so passionate about this because it has changed his life so dramatically. Just to let himself move. It's been a very healing thing for his masculinity too, because he's had so many things in his life that were like, men don't do this, men can't move like that, men can't dress like that, and he has long hair now and all that stuff. But look,
I'm comfortable with my own sexuality, masculinity, all that. Your husband is a really good-looking man. Right? Don't judge me.
Yes, he is.
I'm just gonna say that. Yeah. And when I see you guys, I was like, wow, okay, y'all, all right. I'm just saying. If you see Mr. Ryan, I was like, okay, cool. I'm comfortable enough. I'm just saying. I'm straight. Nothing against anybody. I'm just saying. But y'all look really good-looking couple.
Thank you. Thank you.
But that's important, to be able to recognize those things that, hey, you know what? I'm open to that. I'm gonna free flow. I'm gonna just dance and do my thing because it allows me to even.
And nobody has to see it.
Right.
Like nobody has to ever see it. Yeah. Because it's like I'm walking in on him now. He's very comfortable with this, but he'll just be like moving like I don't even know, like an animal.
Dancing without me? No.
Like I'm like, what are you doing? Cool. Have fun with the universe today.
Right.
Like but even just like some tapping on the chest, like if you just look up like which meridian points and just moving energy through the body, or just like shaking like this. Before I felt comfortable dancing, like learning how to dance, which has been relatively new for me as well, is I would just like just shake, like
just shake them out.
Shake them out. Just every day, and that gets the energy moving.
So it's crazy because I know some of the kids shows they do that, like just shake
it out.
And we say that expression, just shake it off. Shake it out.
Like literally shake it off. And like scream and make sounds and be like
I feel like it's that release.
Yeah, it's an energetic release.
Just like breathing.
And we overthink it because we're like, it sounds weird.
Nah, man.
People are gonna think I'm crazy.
I'm a hip hop head. I love hip hop. It's my first love. Yeah. But the only concerts I've been to, and I say this, has been metal concerts.
Oh yes.
And that was a moment where I'm just like yelling out loud, and I'm like and I'm like, whoa, this is really just.
Dude, imagine if you did that in your closet every day.
I'm just gonna.
It's so cleansing. We actually both did that for a number of years. We would just like do these rage rituals. And now we still do when we need to, but it's not like. You like let the floodgates open, and it takes a while to really purge what's been like emotionally constipated.
Okay.
And then
emotionally constipated. Remember that. You may be emotionally constipated. Please just release.
Are you feeling dead inside? You're probably just emotionally constipated.
Matt, are you emotionally constipated?
Yes.
He said yes. I love Matt's honesty.
Yes.
Also, I don't know if I've said this before, but he speaks Frank well.
I thought you were gonna say French. I was like,
no,
wait,
he speaks Frank well. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, hey Matt, and when like this and that, and he's like, okay, so what you're saying is,
what I'm hearing is this.
Yes, exactly. Matt is my translator. If at any point in time I do get lost,
translator to the rest of the humans.
Yeah. So, which is great. So now with your intimacy coaching,
Yeah.
you do that. Tell us a little bit about maybe some things that you discuss. Not however you want to say it. Whatever it is that you want to share. But also how that's impacted you and your clients.
Yeah.
Or the people around you. Period.
Yeah. The most exciting thing is when I hear about people, especially couples, but also women, because I have courses also for women and couples. And then Ryan has some courses for men.
Okay.
He actually has quite a few courses for men.
Nice. Okay.
And so if they're like, I just need something for, like the guy is like, I'm looking for a better ways to connect with her and like help her to want me more. Like I just want her to want me more, like we used to before the kids and life. And so that's what he does. Dope. Then I help the woman connect with their bodies and their pleasure and like shake up some of that stuff that's just blocked in there.
The constipation.
The constipation.
Sorry. I just had to.
But like now you'll know what we're talking about when we say exactly. that. Yeah, we'll stay on.
I like that though. It's emotional constipation. That's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds a little,
but that's how it feels though. If you think you're like, so
sure.
uncomfortable just being in your own body,
If you've ever been constipated,
Yeah, and then you get symptoms and like, I don't know. Yeah,
you're backed up.
Yeah, you're just backed up. You just can't feel free. You can't be free to just be. There's got to be this gel. There's got to be this like something to prove and you don't feel at ease in your body. Definitely. And that's how I felt. That's how Ryan felt when he was he was like 30 pounds heavier, muscled up and like ripped. And he felt so small inside. He felt so just not enough inside.
That's nuts.
And so, but he had to carry this like, I'm strong, I can do anything. And I'm just going to push my body to its limits. So anyway,
Lisa was, for the most part, Lisa was a healthy way of...
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, not like he wasn't like shooting a parent or something, but like his body has definitely been recovering from that for years now because of all that he's put his body through. Yeah, well, he still has that. He's
doing a good job.
Impact today. Yeah,
I look at him and I'm like, I can't take my shirt off, bro. This is me though, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
But so the thing with that one of the most rewarding things for me is when I hear, like, so many of these stories, like a mom who's had 2 or 3 kids and she's never had an orgasm, and then she finally has that experience, and then her whole world is like, what?
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm just like, I don't understand how that's happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, like...
But I don't know, and I'm also oblivious to that.
Physiologically, like, the guy's, like, he knows that he's done when he's done, right? But for a woman, it's like, have I or have I not? Like, have I? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I did, or maybe...
like, there's proof that you did, right? With the woman, they're just not sure sometimes.
How do you call that? Like, orgasms, constipation.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this. No, but...
Sorry. It's a different hole.
Yeah. That's a what? Different hole?
Different hole.
Got it. Understood.
That's good to know.
Thanks, Matt.
That's good education.
I'm telling you, we're learning a lot today. So no, that's great. It's those stories of many. I don't want to say people, but definitely women. Moms.
And then
you shared your story.
Talk about helping them regulate their own nervous systems too, so that when they show up with their kids, they're more patient. They're less snappy and like and exhausted and irritable, and even the ones that have had these experiences of pleasure with their bodies, when you become a parent and like your boobs are leaking and your like pelvic floor feels like it wants to fall out of your body and your body just went through all this stuff and your sex life isn't what it was and like you're doing all the things and you don't know how to ask for help and you don't know how to set boundaries and it's just like, that first year especially can be a complete shit show. And they'll just kind of put themselves to the side, not just like they're like, hey, I'm not going to do my hair and makeup and whatever, external stuff, but that's just a reflection of other things. And even like, I don't have time to shower. I make myself a meal. Like,
It's just
so
that me time.
yeah, so last thing on the list is, hey, I'm gonna like feel all sexy for myself, you know.
Yeah, wow.
And there is a period of time where you're just like, you got to write it out, and you got to just you know, roll with the punches and make the best of it and create whatever space you can for yourself.
Yes.
But that doesn't need to last the whole time that someone is a parent.
Yep.
And so when I meet some of these moms, their kids are in elementary school or even older.
Yeah.
Some of them, their kids are out of the house already.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've never found myself after becoming a parent. And then their marriages suffer because of that.
Or
definitely. Somebody cheats, and you know, then their whole life just falls apart, and they have to like do all the thing.
Even more issues.
Yeah.
No,
so
definitely.
another thing that's been really exciting to see is the impact on the couples.
Yep.
When they feel like there's nothing that anybody's been able to do for them, that they just will never get that passion or desire or like connection.
Right.
Because they're looking back, right? They want to get back what they used to have, but that will never exist again.
Gotcha.
So what they can do, and what I help them to do is to create a new vision,
Yes,
for what they can have. Because like for us, one of the things that that blows people's minds is that we do this and we have 4 kids.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like they're like, how, you know, like how do you have this with each other and you have 4 kids? And it's very intentionally created.
Keyword intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But then it also, you got to have the tools that will help you. Otherwise you're just kind of like, I don't know where to go, you know, scattered.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I mean, I feel like right now, or whoever's tuning in, moms, you know, women, and they're like, yes, yep, that's me, you know. And I'm only maybe assuming, but I've also heard, not only from like what you've told me, some stories and things that I've seen off the circles that maybe we roll in. Yeah. You know, same thing. And I just don't. You know, I'm gonna say it. I've experienced plenty of orgasms. You know what I mean? But to think that someone has never had that experience, it's like, what? Yeah. And it's the dope is I don't know how to explain it, but it's something that you want to experience in life. Period. Yeah. You know, out of anything, if that's the one thing you're gonna experience that. But to think that someone isn't experiencing that, it's like, like you're missing out. And
then there's all the guilt and shame that comes with that when they're like, I can't do this with my body. Like there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. Yep. No. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people who are like, I think, am I just broken? Because they don't have anybody to talk to about it. So they just don't know if it's normal, or they don't know how many people are also struggling with the same thing.
Right. And you know, what I found out too is through conversations like this and just recently, you know, you may think that you're just that one in that spot. And it's like, no, there are a whole bunch of people that are feeling the same way, and if not worse, you know. So don't feel like you are alone. There's a lot of people out there going through the same thing. You gotta find your community to get that support. Yeah, definitely. But it's great what you do, the energy that you bring, you know. It's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you for being on the show. But I think, do we still have something?
Oh, questions?
We do have one question. I mean, I do. I usually do.
It's a silly question.
It is, but we're just gonna go into it because we weren't. It was a long day. Yeah. You know, I do the 9 to 5 thing, then I come and do this. Yeah, but I love doing this. It's been great so far. You're fourth. You're our 4th guest. And it's amazing. It's so dope to be able to connect and do this. But yeah, usually I'm like, I have it ready for you. So I apologize to anybody listening right now. Look, I'm new to this, but we're making it happen. I'll be better next time. But regardless, we still have a question because I don't remember a question. Matt usually comes up with these.
Serious one?
Yeah, no.
We
don't. I just want to throw her off. We usually want to throw her off, but.
Okay. You were a hot dog.
If I was a hot dog?
And you were stranded on a desert island, would you eat yourself?
I don't know if anybody heard that, but if you were a hot dog and you were stranded on a deserted island, would you eat yourself?
I mean, if I was a hot dog, I technically wouldn't have to eat.
I mean, I think
I would just be having fun being a wiener. That's what I would do. I would just.
I have fun with my wiener.
I would have fun with my wiener.
But you are the wiener.
I would have fun with myself because I'm the wiener. I would. Okay. And if I just felt a little freaky or kinky or something, I might eat myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you eat yourself out, right? Or
something like that.
We're gonna go with that one, but
I will stick by that answer.
Yeah,
I find a bun is what I would like, a bun to like wrap myself in.
I would have to eat the bun.
Toast it, and then I might eat the bun.
Eat the bun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that goes into a whole different conversation. However, no. But once again, thank you, Luci, for being here. Thank you for your energy, for your time, for your stories, for just being here and being you. You know, I appreciate it. Thank you for having us. Social, IG, TikTok, whatever you may have, where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I'm under Luci Lampe. It's Lucy with an I. And I'm sure this will be a Lampe with an E at the end.
Yeah.
Lampe. And then on TikTok, I'm at Luci Lampe Official.
Okay.
Because I think I signed up for TikTok like a long time ago when it first came out, and my older kids were preteens and they were first getting on TikTok. Right. And I got Luci Lampe, and then I didn't know how to get back into it, so I had to put like Luci Lampe
Official. To make it official, she said Luci Lampe Official.
So, right. I'm this like public figure there that be putting like official. Definitely. But so there, and then LuciLampe.com.
Okay, there you go. LuciLampe.com. If anything, any doubt, LuciLampe.com. You find her there, and we'll find a way to put all the information on our show notes.
Cool.
All right, good stuff. Well, thanks again. Normally at this point, we would definitely just toast to lemonade, but you know how
lemonade.
Right? No, but you know we're in your home, and thank you again for having us here. You know you have the home court advantage, but I love this space. It's one of my favorites. Just with having you guys, your energy, all of that, it's always so dope. So thank you again. Thanks to your husband.
Very welcome.
You know,
yeah.
And we hope to reconnect again and create as always as we do. Thank you again for anybody out there tuning in. Remember, we're here to inspire, encourage, and most of all, empower. And I hope that you can find your vision, take those steps, and continue with that journey. Until next time, we'll see you then. At this point, we'll just talk, and supposedly we're trying to put in. What do you call it? The end credits.
End credits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like chatter bloopers.
Yeah. Whatever.
Like
you know, at the end.
My armpit's so sweaty though.
Yeah. We're actually gonna keep that part.
Okay. There's like droplets. My deodorant's white, and sometimes I'll get streaks of white.
I like this part. I think we're gonna keep that in the beginning. And just like let's add this today, Luci Lampe. There's just sweat dripping.
Sweat dripping down my body.
Exactly. No, that's it. But I think we're good. Cool. Awesome.